Somber atmospheric music begins with the faint sound of a distant city siren. You ever hear a story so dark it feels like it crawled out of the city's sewers? This is one of them. This is the story of Ian. In the rain-slicked back alleys where neon signs bleed color onto the asphalt, Ian was a legend, not the kind you read about in history books. He was a street fighter, the best. His fists were his language, his victories a currency in a world that had long forgotten about honor. He fought for scraps, for respect, for the simple, brutal thrill of being alive. Every punch thrown was a desperate scream against the silence of his life. But in that world, legends don't last long. One night, under the cold, indifferent gaze of a flickering street lamp, Ian's luck ran out. It wasn't a glorious battle. It was a messy, ugly end. A cheap shot, a pool of blood mixing with the grimy rainwater. The city, the only thing he'd ever truly known, watched him die and didn't even blink. The world just moved on. Ian was gone. Or so everyone thought. As his body lay cold in the forgotten alley, something ancient and hungry stirred in the shadows between worlds. It wasn't an angel, and it sure as hell wasn't a devil. It was something older. Something else. A being woven from pure darkness and eternal despair. It saw the dying ember of Ian's rage, the ghost of his will to fight, and it made a deal. Not with words, but with a silent, terrifying pact. It reached out, pouring its own essence into Ian's lifeless form. Black Icarus energy flooded his veins, stitching flesh back together, reigniting the spark in his heart, but twisting it into something cold and alien. Ian rose. His eyes opened, but they weren't his anymore. They were voids, reflecting the endless night of the entity that now shared his soul. He was back. But he wasn't Ian. Not completely. He was now something caught in the horrifying space between life and death. Half human, half demon, cursed with an eternity he never asked for. He possessed terrifying powers, the ability to melt into shadows, to command fear itself, to strike with a force that could shatter bone and spirit. He was an immortal wraith, a walking ghost story. But the most profound change? The entity took his voice. The brawler who once let his fists do the talking was now condemned to absolute silence. He could never again scream in rage or whisper a name or cry out in pain. His entire existence became a silent, unending scream. You'd think a creature born from such darkness would become a monster, right? A villain to haunt your nightmares. That's the twist. The last shred of Ian's humanity. That stubborn, street-forged will to survive, it didn't just survive, it focused. He remembered the predators, the scum who prey on the weak, the same kind of people who left him to die. And now he fights, not for glory, not for money. He fights for the city that let him die. He is its silent guardian, its spectral protector. Every night he emerges from the shadows, a silent, demonic creature of vengeance, to save the innocent from the evil that festers in the city's heart. He's not living, not dead, just existing. A silent phantom waging a one-man war, paying a price for a second chance he never wanted, forever bound to the darkness that gave him new life, and using it to bring a sliver of light to the damned. He is the city's darkest secret and its only true hope.